1997's Good Will Hunting is certainly a classic. This wasn't my first time looking at it, only saw it previously only once. But I have to say, even on a rewatch, this one still holds up even more than 2 decades later. So the story of this one is that it's about a MIT janitor named Will Hunting. He's a mathematical genius, and when he ends up solving one of the math equations at the university, then Professor Gerald Lambo ends up getting his good friend, Dr. Sean McGuire, in order to provide direction in Will's life. This film is simply beautiful, not just by the performances from the actors, but the story overall is very powerful. The character development is great, and the themes of love, vulnerability, happiness, dissatisfaction, and seeing the imperfections in people actually makes them who they are. And while there is nobody that is perfect, there can be two people that are perfect for each other. But this isn't a love story. This film is about thinking for yourself, and also it's a personal journey. And when it comes to the dialogue, it's very impressive. There are some good moments, some sad moments, and some funny moments. When it comes down to it, this is a movie that everybody can relate to, not just because of the human themes, but also it's very enjoyable as well. Now, the chemistry between the late Robin Williams and Matt Damon is just amazing. Both characters are very intriguing, simply because Sean, well, he lost his wife before the events of this movie. And so there's even one part in the scene, this is a spoiler alert, where he tells Will that you don't know true love, you're afraid, you don't know what it's like to look in someone else's soul. I mean, it's real powerful stuff. And that's all for verbatim. That's not for word what I'm saying, but basically that's what he's telling Will. Will Hunting, he is a troubled individual. He's gotten in trouble beforehand. And, you know, the mere fact that he's willing to push people away, he doesn't let anybody in. That's why there's one scene in particular, another spoiler alert here, where he tells his girlfriend Skylar that he's an orphan and he actually was abused as a child. I mean, it's a pretty powerful scene. It's pretty emotional. You feel bad for Will because he's gone through some terrible situations, but you also can understand where he's coming from. Now, Ben Affleck, he actually did a good job as well. He's not in the film that much. I'm not saying he's like in the movie for like 15 minutes, but his character Chucky is definitely a good inspiration. He even tells Will, you know, you gotta get out of here, you gotta do something more with your life. In this film, the themes of human acceptance, human nature, and ability to connect with one another, that's what makes this one of the best movies of the late 1990s. At the end of the day, I would highly recommend this film to anybody out there because certainly this one, it is a fine piece of cinema in my opinion. I'm giving this film an 8 out of 10. Now, the screenplay of this one was written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, which actually won an Academy Award. And Robin Williams' amazing performance also had won him an Academy Award. The only complaint I have about this one is that Ben Affleck, Minnie Driver, among some other actors, well, they don't get a whole lot of screen time, but it makes sense because this is Will's story after all. There's nothing else for me to say about this movie. It's thought-provoking and it's top quality cinema to say the least. And that's my review of Good Will Hunting. Alright, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. Okay, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.